Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into my YouTube channel. I am on the road, so it's an appropriate time for another episode of Windshield Time. And in this episode of Windshield Time, I'm going to actually address some comments that were actually questions from the last video that was on my favorite bladed jig trailers. That got a decent amount of response, a lot of views, or a decent amount of views for me. And so there's some good questions down in the comment section, and not everybody reads the comments. So I thought it'd be great, even though I answer them in the video, I thought I'd do a video that just, where I can verbally answer these questions. People can watch it instead of reading it. And if you just kind of want to listen to it, you can do that as well. There's not a whole lot to it because obviously the windshield time, I'm just driving down the road. So with that, let's get right into it. So Glenn Schramm, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. He asked, do you ever rig your boot tail swim bait upside down? And, I kind of wish he wouldn't say that because, honestly, I haven't done it in a while, but I got on a kick there where I was doing it a lot. And for whatever reason, both on your swim jig and or your spinnerbait or even your bladed jig, when you rig that thing upside down, where instead of the boot tail coming, hanging down like this, and catching water, something about it kind of being up the opposite direction, if you know what I'm saying, upside down from the way you would normally rig it, the belly portion actually up on top like a hump instead of below. It actually catches more water. It's got great action, and thank you for reminding me about that. It's a great way to get a little bit more action and more thump. If you are in a scenario where you think more action's better, where maybe the water's warmer or the fish are more aggressive, that's a great way to get more action out of your trailer. So keep that in mind. You can rig that boot style swim bait trailer upside down, and it does get better action. It's a good deal. The next question is from Len Clark, and he asked, do I ever rig the Menace Grub vertically? So most of the time I rig the Menace Grub where the Menace Grub is a twin tail grub, and I rig it where it, just like you would kind of horizontally most of the time, but you rig it up like this and it does take on more of that bluegill profile with the tail section. Looks a lot like a bluegill. It's a pretty unique deal, and it's, of course, it's rage tail, so it gets a ton of action. I have done that. For whatever reason, I continue to revert back to this direction. I don't know why, but I do have good success with that Menace Grub, which is why it's in my top trailer selection for bladed jigs. I'll actually put that video. I'll try to remember to link that video in this in the description to this video, this Windshield Time episode. But yes, instead of rigging the Menace Grub this way, you can rig it like this, and you can do that with swim jigs as well. And it does catch water, and it does look good, and it does have an overall kind of, bluegill style trailer or tail type appearance. So that's a good one. Thanks for sharing that and reminding me as well that I do like to do that. Next question is from Robbie Mahaffey. I gotta stop and get some diesel. Robbie Mahaffey asks, do I tend to use the same color trailer to the bladed jig that I'm tying on? And the answer is yes. Every now and again, I'll kind of mix and match some colors, but for the most part, if it's black and blue trailer. If it's green pumpkin trailer. White or shad pattern or white trailer. Only time I mix that up a little bit is sometimes I'll put like green pumpkin or green pumpkin blue, like a blue craw colored, which is green pumpkin with a blue swirl. I'll put that on my black and blue because that blue ties in with the blue portion of the black and blue jig. So you're still kind of matching them, but at the same time you're giving a different color, a new tone out the back, and I like that. Sometimes I'll do that, and I'll do some other things with my other colors, specifically my bluegill colors. I may put like a watermelon red on the back instead of a bluegill colored trailer. But for the most part, most of the time, I'm matching trailer and jig. I want the same colors. Robbie also asked, do you use basically the same primary colors a lot of people use? Yes, I really do. I just like I've said previously, the white, the black and blue, the green pumpkin, those are really the best colors to throw. A bluegill as well. Every once in a while, I'll throw that chartreuse and white in some more off-colored water and around the spawn as well. So yes, those are really, there's like really 5 colors, but the lion's share of what I throw is white, green pumpkin, and black and blue. Those are the 3 colors of a bladed jig that I throw the most. Last question is from Mike Curry. He asks, what's the best trailer for keeping a 3/8 ounce bladed jig low in the water column? As you know, as you reel these baits in, they want to plane out. And depending upon the trailer that you use, that'll either increase the planing or minimize it. And for me, the blade minnow is probably the best at minimizing that bait from planing out and keeping it lower in the water column. I definitely think the blade minnow, because the blade minnow has that slender profile and no appendages, very little drag in the water, that bait tends to keep the bladed jig down in the water column. I definitely think that's number 1. Number 2 would probably be like the Swimmin' Shiner, the Strike King Swimmin' Shiner Swimbait trailer with the smaller little tail on there. That'd be my number 2, but those are the ones that, in my opinion, keep the bait lower in the water column, especially like a 3/8 ounce. But baits like a Rage Craw or a Rage Menace or something like that that has appendages. Some guys even like to put a Rage Bug on the back. I've caught fish like that. It works. And those types tend to make the bait plane out because of the drag of the claws and the appendages. Slow the bait down, but also it wants to plane it out instead of falling in the water column. One more thing that I want to talk about with the bladed jig. Definitely, it makes a difference with line diameter, just like your crankbaits. If you're throwing something like 20-pound test, that's going to make the bait, because there's a larger diameter, again, that's going to want to make the bait plane out. The more surface area of anything that you have in the water, that's going to make the bait want to ride up in the water column. So keep that in mind. I use gamma fluorocarbon 100% of the time when I'm throwing bladed jigs. Some guys like braid. I tried braid. I'm not into it. I just don't like it. Fluorocarbon is the way to go. I'm not telling anyone not to throw braid. It's not my jam. That's just what it is. I'm just sharing that out with you guys straight up. I like fluorocarbon, and it works for me. I use a 7'2" medium heavy action rod, and yeah, every once in a while I'll throw 16. I rarely throw 25, but every once in a while I'll throw 16. A little bit smaller diameter line keeps the bait down in the water a little bit more, and sometimes that can make a big difference. So sometimes just that line diameter can make a big difference if you feel like you want to keep it lower in the water column and you can slow it down and different things like that. But that's it for now, guys. Thank you for sending in those comments and or dropping those comments in the comment section. Appreciate you guys watching my videos. Please share them if you know a friend or somebody else or a place that you feel like guys would get a lot from this. That's really the only way that the channel grows. But it's growing, so that's good. I appreciate the support of all you guys. If you could give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and let me know if there's something else you'd like to see. And until next time, hope everyone's having a great weekend and good fishing.